Okay guys, you know what it is. Christmas is over. Should be in the house, should be with the family. But nah, it's fucking Sunday fun day. It's time for the Model A. Let's see where we're going today. So where we are going today with this thing is, during the week, here I cut this piece of floor and I put some bead rolls in it because it's near the front now. This piece is still under the seat, but still I'm getting near the front where you don't want to have any possible oil canning just in case. So I'm going to fit this piece in this section right here. Okay, that's going to go in there right now. Then, I'll also manage to get the top of the tank stripped to bare metal. Why does strip it to bare metal? Because we're going to be cutting this out soon, because I'll be getting my piece to put in there for a 32 Ford, because I'm putting the vent in there like a 32 Ford house. But most importantly, the most exciting thing ever, which maybe we'll get to today, because today is going to be a short day, but we're going to get some time in. We got the 32 Firewall. There it is. Now, factory one, you can order them factory. You can order the other factory ones where they'd have these holes cut out. I didn't need those holes cut out. I didn't want any holes. I'll figure out my own holes later. But that is the 32 Ford Firewall. It's way prettier than a Model A Firewall, in my opinion. We're going to have to do lots of trimming, lots of fitting to get this bad boy in there. Once we get it fit in there, then we'll set it in place kind of roughly. Then we'll try and get the engine and tranny in. So there's a bit to do that. But right now, what I want to do is I want to focus on that section of the floor and get that put in. So let's get on it. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. That's all plug welded in. What I mean by plug weld is where I drilled the holes, I just welded it back. Fixed it in there, good. Next is grind these down. I'm going to grind these down, clean that up a bit. Then I just got my dashes, just kind of got a couple bolts loosely in there. Got to get that out of the way. And I might start bringing the Firewall over here and doing some measuring and fitting. See what we can figure out. But first I'll go on here, finish this. I stay focused on one thing at a time. I don't want to jump all over the place. Sometimes you get excited and you start jumping around. You forget on other things what you were doing, and then you end up leaving stuff behind. So we'll clean that up and away we go. But that's looking good. Like, look how nice that looks. Look through the back of the car. This car is going to be so much more solider. I can't wait to drive this car and see how it feels now. Big difference, I just know it. Okay, so I dragged the Firewall out here. The first thing we got to attempt to do, stand this up. Now, everybody may have different ways of doing it. I can honestly say I've never ever put a 32 Ford Firewall in a Model A. I just haven't. I'm sure there's guys out there. I'm sure there's YouTube videos. But I like to figure shit out on my own, and when I can't, well, then I'll go that route and take a look. But right now, I can tell you, at this moment, this Firewall came, I'm going to call them, whether it's right or wrong, I'm going to call them the legs or the feet down there. And they are spot welded on, or riveted on, however they did it. Spot welds, I guess. Or no, it's like a rivet. And I have kept my original ones still there. Now, I know that some people I've talked to have said they've used the 32 ones, but I want to leave my original ones because it all lines up and mounts up to what I want. And I want it to look like a Model A on that aspect of it. So I'm going to take those off first. Those are coming off. These are just gone. Don't want them. So we're going to grind those off. Then I can set the Firewall up in here. I already know for a fact from a little bit of research I've done that these Firewalls are wider. So I'm going to see what goes on there. But we'll start by getting those off because they're just in the way. Floor. I did get the floor. You want to take a look here? I got it all... I just showed you this, but I did get the welds all ground down. There we go. Got those all ground down. Just because I'm going to spray this floor after and make sure it's sealed up so it won't rust. But then I'm going to put my Dynamat on, and I just don't want the little bumps of the welds there. You could have left them. It wouldn't matter. You could put the Dynamat on. It would cover it, but it's just nicer to know it's smooth, you know? So that's all good. So let's play with the Firewall. Okay, so as I said, I cut the... I kept these too. They're brand new. Someone might have a 32 Ford that's going to need these. Really good skookum piece. Anyway, I cut those off there, like I said. Then what I had to do is I started looking. I'm just taking my time here. Taking my time. I've never done this before. My first attempt. I can tell right away that these, if you can see these pieces, they went up on here and they stick out. They protrude out. They have to go. And I have a real sneaking feeling all this is in the way. So I'm going to have to probably cut that off. But before I cut that off, I'm still measuring. I brought the old Firewall in. And you can see the difference between the old Firewall and the new one. This is your 3031 basic firewall. That's actually a really nice firewall, so that might be coming up for sale. Now, a hot rod trick, if you want to save some money, you don't have to do what I did. You can take these firewalls, unbolt them, drill out the spot welds, because that's the front of it, right? That's where your engine goes against. If you're going to put a V8 in, you turn it around. You turn it around, look at the depth you got now. And you got clearance. There you go. So, the difference in looks, if you see what I like, is I just love the look of a 32 firewall, and you probably think I'm crazy, but I love the look of it. Let's get this set up. So there's our Model A, and you can see the little ribs and stuff like that, and then the 32, look at, like I said, I ordered the one, normally these holes would be cut out for the factory 32 Ford, because it's got things coming through there. I got the one without them cut out. I love just the lines of this firewall. I love how this kicks down like that. The Model A doesn't. I just love that. So, it's an expensive thing. This is a reproduction one. Brookville makes them, and so does Union. Now, I'm Canadian, so remember, when I say prices, I'm saying it in Canadian. For me to get a Brookville was going to be $1,400 for a Brookville. I bought this one out of Union, who's making bodies. Gorgeous firewall, really built really well. I love it. And this with taxes in was $1,000. So I saved 400 bucks. Now, so we're going to get back on here. So I cut the feet off of here, like I said, or I drilled out the spot welds. I didn't wreck nothing. The next thing is, you can see, is that this firewall is way too wide. This firewall here is like 35 inches. This is over 36, but that is because it's got this band. If you look, let me turn this around. If we can get a look here. I'll tell you people, this is not going to get done today on our Fun Day Sunday. It's going to take time. This is a band that comes all the way around. And it is spot welded all the way around. And you can see I started drilling all the spot welds out. Because this band can come off. If I take that band off, it drops this firewall down to 35.5 inches. And I believe it was just 35 and a teeny bit over on here. So then I'm damn close to fitting in to my car. So I'm drilling the spot welds out next, and I'm going to take this band off. And there we go. Somebody for 32 Ford, I got a beautiful band for you. Yeah, sold it to you for $1,000. Anyway, so that's what we're doing next. We're taking the band off. Then I'm going to hold it up in here, and I'm certain I'm going to have to cut these off, and we'll see where we go there. And don't forget, I got to put the tank back up on there. My tank's right here, because that's all part, firewall's all part of that. And I'm going to try and set this firewall back. I don't know yet, but I got to explain it when I get it in there. I'm going to try and set it back as far as I can into this lip. But I'm going to kind of get it in there and see what's going on. But anyway, next, we're getting carried away. Next, we got to get the band off. It's going to be a real short Sunday fun day, because I can tell you right now, you know, I don't have a full 8 hours today because it's Christmas. Well, Boxing Day. So I'll do as much as I can within this 4 or 5 hour window I got. All right, let's get going. Okay, so I haven't cut it off. I drilled out all the spot welds. Let me set this here. I got this band off. If you can see this, let me put it on the bench. There she is. A lot of spot welds, a lot of drilling. So I got all that off of there. Now, I've kind of laid these two firewalls back to back. That's the nice thing of having the old firewall here. You can see, now it's not 100% level, but you can see that they basically, the two firewalls, 31 to 32, are sort of similar along here. Where we lose it is right here, just on the corner. And of course the 3031's got this big divot, where this one doesn't. But that's alright, we can address that later. Right now, it looks like this is, so anyone out there going to do this, you can see it's this right here, comes to the corner, then we're pretty much good. Alright, now let me get this off here. That's my original, obviously. There we go. So there it is with that all drilled off. Alright. So I can tell right now, if I take this, oh, sorry guys for the shitty film work. If I take this and go up in here, you know, it's almost going to work, but I'm going to have to do some trimming. The other thing that I noticed, that if you look in here, I didn't want to, but I'm going to have to, I've drawn a line. I'm going to have to chop that out for now. I can address that later. I'm going to have to get that out of the way for this firewall to go in. So my next step is I'm going to cut that out. The body's bolted down. I made sure the body's bolted down securely everywhere else. I'm going to take that off, cut it out, then see where I'm at with this firewall. I just know that'll stand there for a minute. Will it stand there? Come on, you son of a bitch. There we go. I just know, once I cut that out, this is still not going to fit in here. I'm going to have to do a little trimming around here. A little trimming around there. Then I can slide it in. So, and I'm probably going to have to take my steering box out. But the steering box is lining up. There's a cutout in this firewall for the steering column, and it's lining up. So we'll get this, we got a bit of cutting here to do now. We're going to cut some of this shit away. And then, of course, I got to put the tank up on top, because this obviously lifts up and goes under the tank, right? But it's not so bad to put a 32 firewall so far into this thing. So we'll see how much further we can go here today. The old temperature's dropping in the shop. I got the old heater just a blaring, but it's not warm out here today. We got winds just a blowing. I think it's like the wind chill factor is probably like minus 25, because it's like minus, I don't know, I think 12 today or something, or 14, but yeah. Let's see what the old temperature gauge says here that we're at. What are we at here? Whew! She's sitting right there. Yeah. Ain't too warm today. Let's keep on trucking along, because it's Boxing Day, and I'd sooner be doing this than hanging out in a goddamn store or mall. Okay, guys, I'll give you a better idea of what's going on. So I cut the inner. Let me get around here. I cut the inner supports off right here. These were going down. I can show you this. These were going down in here. All right. Okay, I can just actually leave that there. Cut that off, because it's going to hit all of that. Don't throw anything away. Keep all that shit. You deal with it later. Now what I've done is I bolted the original Model A tank back in place where it should be, fitted everything, made sure it's all fitted nicely, got the lines lined up like they should be, okay? That's where that's going to go. Now I've got the 32 firewall sitting here. I just vice gripped it in. I made sure that the center point was lined up with this center point, okay? Now you can see, if we get around to the side here, you can see what I'm talking about. See how this, look at, this is going to slip right in there. As we come up, this is where our problem lies. Right in here. Look at. And of course this dip thing, which is going to have to be here. This is not so bad. It's lining up, if you look here, it lines up beautiful across here. And what I want to try and do is I want to try and get this in here and set it back. You know, I'm going to have to take this off. I know that. But I want to set it back a ways. and just, you know, I want to have room for the engine. But you can see the same thing here. It's lining up. Then we get our kick out. If we probably come from behind, you can see how much. See the difference there? Should be the same on the other side, I believe. Let's just double check this. Unless I don't have this sucker centered. See, it's, yeah, actually I may have to move this firewall a bit this way. I may have to move it. Let me just double check this. See, while you guys are online here, we're going to look. Yeah, I do have it out a bit. Do you have it out? Look at the point. It's out. So it's got to go this way a hair. Line that up, and then I'm going to draw my lines along in here, what I need to do. I can try and use this firewall, put them back to back, and get a line off of there. Remember, it's only metal. So don't get carried away. Cut it slowly. Do a little bits at a time and keep trying to fit it. All right? You want to on this because you got a 32 firewall, paid good money for it. You just don't want to fucking hack it all up and say I'll weld it back together. I don't want to do that. But in here, to do a couple of welds and that, what I'll do is when I cut it, obviously I'll weld from the other side. Right? And then I can grind it down flush. You don't see the other side ever. It's underneath the dash. You just do a little bit of putty work in the corners where we need to. So that's my next step. I'm going to center this thing a little bit better, draw some lines, see what the hell goes on. And you can see, I was telling you, there's the column cut out. Look, it's perfect. I don't even have to remove this box. I can just leave the box in here for now. And that's all fine. But does that not look so nice? Oh my God. Love the look of a 32 Firewall. Just love it. Okay, well, I'm going to go play, and we'll be back. Okay, so I trimmed back the pieces, and there it is. It's sitting in place. Now you can see, if you can see through the camera here, there's a little bit of daylight there and there. The sides of the car still, you can see the overhang. They got to be pulled in. And then you want to have, or at least I'm thinking I want to have a little bit of a gap there, because what I did was I ended up cutting off the lip. You see how there's, I don't know if I can show you this now that it's in the car. See how it had this lip around here where I drilled the spot welds out? Well, from this point on, I trimmed the lip off. And what I'm going to do is there's a bit of a gap. So I trimmed it off, and I just trimmed it off right on the edge. So what I actually took away from metal was the width of a grinding stone. Now I kept that lip, and now what I'm going to do is tack it back on the car from the inside. So I'm not making any welds on the outside. Tack it from the inside. I'm going to put that back on. But before I even worry about that, I don't give a shit about that right now. The next step, honestly, would be to drag the engine and transmission. I'm assuming, I'm thinking, drag the engine and transmission around here and kind of set it in the hole to see where I want this Firewall to sit to determine how far back I want it for my distributor. Now I'm going to be running the small distributor, like the point style distributor. So I'm not running a great big HEI distributor. Those things, they just don't look good in a hot rod. If you got a hood on it, that's fine. You don't have a hood on it, they're nasty and they're ugly. So I just want to run, there you go, my old point style distributor. But you can get it without points. You can get electronic. You have to look at that distributor, for those who don't know what I mean. Look at that compared to the look of something like, you know, like this, let's get in here. Can I even get this thing? This big honking thing. Picture that thing sitting in there. Who the fuck wants to see that? Not this guy. So if you did run that distributor, you'd need even more clearance at the back of the Firewall. Because I'm running the shorter one, I don't. So I got to move all this stuff out of the way. I got to get everything out of here to get that around here. And I don't know if I'm going to get that today. It's already in the afternoon. It is Boxing Day, and you know, I do have family in the house, so I've snuck out here. But I'm so happy to get that done. Look at how beautiful that looks. That is, I mean, that Firewall, compared to that, it just, there's no comparison. So anyone looking to put a 32 Firewall in, so far it's not that bad. I haven't even looked to see how it meets up on the inside. Let's take a look here. Oh, wow. Look at this. It's going to work perfect. Look how this kickdown is going to line right up with that. Oh boy, that just looks, and look at the column, it's right in line with that, not that it really matters. It just is looking, you can see what I mean by there's a little bit of a gap there. This is just looking absolutely beautiful. I'm so happy. Never done this in my life. And, you know, I didn't lose any sleep over it. I'm just, here I am, cutting away. One thing I did do was when I bolted the tank in, I quickly put a spot weld on either side of the tank here. It was kind of flimsing and moving around, so I wanted to make sure it didn't move anymore. So, yeah. See what else I can do here. Maybe a couple things. I can still buy a little more time out in the shop. You know how it is. Okay, I managed. What a shit show. You never realize how quick the days go. So the engine was sitting over here. Well, I could have got through here, but then I got this fucking pole in the way. So I had to drag the engine around and get through between the car and the Mustang without damaging anything. And anyway, after 20 minutes of, pardon the language, but fucking around, I got the engine over here. So now I'm starting to get the engine in the car. So hopefully I've got enough time here. I'm going to drop this son of a bitch down in there, set her there, and we're going to call it a day. So let's see where we can get. But tell ya, I just couldn't help but pick up the camera again. Doesn't that Firewall just look absolutely gorgeous? Oh my God, I love the looks of a 32 Firewall. And it's going to look even greater when I get the 30, like I said, I've ordered the 32 cowl vent. I'm going to put that in there. Now you can use any cowl vent you want. There's a lot of cool cowl vents out there on Chevy pickups and Dodges and everything. I just wanted the 32 one. Like I said, I just wanted to take a few aspects of American Graffiti and incorporate it on my own car. This is going to be my vision of what I would have. Only because I can't afford a 32 Ford. And I just refuse, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm refusing at the moment to have a fiberglass one. Because I could afford a fiberglass one, I almost bought one. I almost sold this and bought a fiberglass one. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with fiberglass. Honestly, there isn't, but I'm just, the only thing I can work with is metal. If I cut wood and I do it wrong, it's fucked. If I cut plastic and I do it wrong, it's fucked. If I cut fiberglass and do it wrong, it's still fucked, even though I know you can re-resin it back together. I'm just a metal guy, so I need metal. Okay, let's see where we go here. All I can say is, hell yeah! If that ain't a good Sunday fun day, I don't know what is. I couldn't think of a better way to spend my Boxing Day. Engine is sitting in place. That Firewall looks like it was made to be there. That is just the answer. Now, what you can see is the Firewall itself is being pushed back. If you don't know if you can see, it's being pushed back too far. Only because it needs some trimming around there on the transmission. Now, I want to look at the room we got here. I don't need this much room. So when I trim this, let's get around here, the other side here. God, this thing fits like it was meant to be in here. When I trim it, I'm going to be very careful. You can see tons of clearance here, tons there. I'm going to trim it up and around here. When I trim it, that's going to allow this to push back where it wants to be. Right? I mean, I don't know if I've got the Firewall sitting in the spot where it should be. I was just guessing. My whole plan, like I said in this video a little earlier, was I was trying to get the 32 Firewall lip to line up along in here, which I've done. I lined it up along in these holes, which is what I wanted to do. But the engine now, because it's touching there, is kicking this back. But I think when I cut that, that'll bring it forward, because it's only got to come forward like 1.5 inches, which is still going to give me so much room between the distributor. Oh my God, I'm so happy. What I also did, I forgot to mention, is I showed you guys this water pump thing by Zips, which rises the water pump up to keep it in line with the fan. I mean, to keep the fan more in line with the top of the radiator. And you remember I had cut the one bracket off here for the AC. Well, I had another bracket here for the alternator. I cut that off, because I've been mocking up my alternator how it's going to come off of here. I don't got a lot of choices because I'm running an older style engine, 58, 283 with power pack heads. I don't have all the bolt holes, and I don't want to change anything out. I want to leave this engine, so I have to run a bracket off of my water pump there, and then I can utilize this as my bottom bracket. But I did chop that off, and I ground it down nice and flush, so I think that looks nice. Because this thing, I love this idea. I love what this does. It's such an awesome thing, because usually on Model A's, when you put the engine in, the fan sits really low. That's why a lot of people run electric fans, where this raises it up, like I think it's 4.5 inches, and puts the fan more near the top of the rad for cooling. Because I don't want electric fans on this thing. If it had a hood and was closed up, that's fine. I don't want to see electric fans hanging on a car that's got an open like this. I just want to see it. It's too modern for me, but only my opinion. So, but I love this idea. There's no getting away from it. I'm not the biggest fan that this thing kind of sticks up like this, but whatever. When you paint it black and that, it won't be so bad. You put the pump on there, all the shit, you get your valve covers on. You're distracted from all the little bit of chrome bits, so, well, not noticeable. But that is besides the point. That engine is in there. That Firewall is sitting in there. I think we got lots done today on this Boxing Day, Sunday fun day. If you agree, give me a big fucking hell yeah, because I'm just stoked right now. I don't even want to go in the house. I don't even want to go in. I just want to stay out here. What this is going to allow me to do now is, like I say, we'll trim that up, we'll fit that, we'll get the fireplace with a couple tacks in it. Then I can figure out my floor pans from here. Then from my floor pans from there, I can figure out where I want to put my seat to my column. Then from there, I can figure out building the back wall between the seat and the gas tank, then mount my gas tank. Oh yeah, this old girl is coming along really quick now. Super, super stoked. Super stoked. Look at that, door's still closed like a glove. Nothing's moving. But there's still a lot of fabricating. The next couple videos are going to be kind of boring to some of you maybe. There's still a lot of fabricating and fixing stuff in here. It's going to be a while. It's probably going to be a couple Sundays. But that's okay. That is okay. Hey, thanks for watching. Remember, it's always a good time at old time. It's even a better time on Sundays. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all.